What's up guys? This is Brent with 24/7 Parts, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install the home maintenance kit on the John Deere S220. Unfortunately, I did not have a boxed kit to actually show in this video, but if you're looking for the home maintenance kit for the S220, it's going to be part number LG277. And what all is going to come inside is an air filter, 2 spark plugs, your oil filter, fuel filter, and 2 quarts of oil. So first thing that we'll do to start with this is we'll go ahead and open up the hood, move to the right-hand side of the engine, and start draining the oil. So over here on the right-hand side is where we're going to have our easy drain right here on this engine. So with this being the Briggs & Stratton engine, this particular one on the 220 does have the easy drain system. So first thing that I'm going to do is actually pull back this panel right here and pull this past our hose assembly there to get it out of the way. Then I'm simply going to pop this down right here and get it unclipped, and then I'm going to screw off the top here of this drain, open that up, and I'm going to push this down and actually hang it underneath this fender deck here just so it hangs in place and lets all that oil drain out. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to lift up here on the engine oil fill, open that up. That's going to allow for more airflow to allow this to drain out. Then to keep that hose down into place, we're just going to slide our flap right here down just a little bit to hold that hose in place, and now we can allow that engine oil to drain and we can move on to doing a couple other things. Next, we can go ahead and change our air filter. We're going to have 2 twist knobs here right on top, right where our John Deere emblem is. We're just going to simply turn those to the unlock position and then lift off this top. Then to pull out this filter, we simply just have to pull up and out. Now we can swap that for the new one. Just push down and in. Put that cover right back on, twist those away from the unlock position, and just like that, changed your air filter. Next will be our spark plug. Now this is going to be a V-twin engine, so like I said, you are going to have 2 spark plugs. You'll have one on each side that'll sit right here on the side of the engine. So first thing we need to do is just pull off this cap, just like so. Move that out of our way here. Then next thing that we'll need is a 5/8 spark plug socket to take these off. So we're going to go in and then just twist back to release that spark plug just like that. Then we can take the socket off, and it's a whole lot easier to just crank this off by hand with the socket. And then once we get that off, we can go in with our new socket here. Just like so. We're going to go ahead and tighten this up by hand until we feel it touch the side of that engine block, until we start to get some resistance right there. And then we'll go back on with our spark plug socket and go ahead and tighten this up. Not too tight, but just tight enough that we know we're making good connection. Then we'll go back on here with our plug and make sure we do this on the other side. By now, your oil should all be drained, and we are just down to a very small trickle. So we're going to go ahead and close this back up, lock that into place, set our dirty engine oil aside. Move this up and out of the way. We're going to clip that back onto the side of the engine, and then move our cover back and clip it down into place. And then now we'll be ready to move back over to the other side and change out our fuel and oil filter. Back over here on the left-hand side, this flap also moves, but it's a lot easier to get to our oil filter, which is right behind here, and our fuel filter, which is right here. If we just go ahead and remove this panel, all we need here is an 8mm nut driver or socket and ratchet, and there's a bolt right down here on the bottom of this flap that we can simply remove, and then that'll free us up, give us a lot more room here to our fuel and oil filter. All right, so once we get that removed and out of the way, now we have fully exposed our fuel filter here, so we will start with it. As you can see here, the fuel filter is just held on by 2 clamps here, so we need to grab us a set of pliers, and we're going to move these clamps back down the hose, and on this side move them up the hose here, just like so. Then we can start to remove those hoses from the filter. Sometimes just some twisting, turning, a little bit of pulling and friction here gets these filters to come loose. They can be a pain if they've never been changed before, but just a little twisting usually pops that right off. Now we need to make note of the way that this was facing. So there is an arrow on these fuel filters right here that shows the direction of flow. So what we need to do is make sure that whenever we're going back on, that this arrow on the filter is facing the side that's going towards the engine. So just like it went on, we're going to go with our cap in going this way, and with our bottom end going this way. That's feeding fuel from the tank to the engine. Then we'll go back on with our clips here, just like this, and like that. And now we can move on to our oil filter. Now when we move back to our oil filter, I would suggest going ahead and getting your drain pan back out and getting it underneath where that oil filter is going to come off, as there is going to be some oil that comes off. And then I also suggest with this style of filter that's on the S220 is to having this cap style filter wrench. We're going to go ahead and get it put on the filter here. Then we're going to hook up our ratchet to the filter wrench and then just start to slowly back this off. But if your cap style doesn't seem to be working, we can go ahead and jump to a strap style filter wrench here. This is kind of my go-to when the going gets tough. We can't get the easiest filter wrench to work, then we move up here to the strap style, and we can usually get something done here with this filter wrench. All right, then once we get that loose, we can simply take it off by hand. There comes the oil. Let that kind of drip down into our oil pan there. Reach back here, grab us a few blue shop towels. Just get that cleaned up off of our frame there so we don't have a big mess. Just like so. Then we can go ahead and break out one of those new quarts of oil. Open that up and also break out our new filter here. Take that filter, dip our finger down in that oil, and then put a thin layer of oil right there around the rim of that filter, and then start it on by hand. And then we're just going to go on hand tight, but we want to make sure and crank it as much as we can by hand here, but we don't want it filter wrench tight. Just like that. And now we can move to the other side, fill up with our 2 quarts of oil, and that's it. And last but not least, come over here to our right-hand side to our oil fill. And we're going to fill this bad boy up with 2 quarts of oil. Now a funnel, of course, would make this a lot easier, but these bottles are pretty easy to put in just by themselves. So there is 1. And 2. Now we can replace that dipstick Next step here would be to fire everything up, make sure we don't have any leaks, make sure everything sounds good, and then we're good to go. So guys, that's it. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, we just ask that you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're looking for any of the parts that we used here today, remember that kit number is LG277. But if you need any other parts, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to go buy your parts right here and subscribe right here.